This is a special presentation of 4 Star Sports Media. Welcome to the 4 Star Sports Media College Football Pick'em Show. Now, live from the BA Mask Studios, here's your host, from the Point, Wes Pruitt.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Week 10 of the College Football Roundtable. I'm your host, Wes Pruitt. Nathan Wilson is also in the room as well. Just can't see him at the moment. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Welcome inside the Heritage Fence live fan feedback. We got the comment section going over there in Facebook, YouTube. We're also live right now on Twitter as well. We thank you to everyone watching and listening as always. Make sure you go by and check out our website, 4star.live, for everything 4-Star Sports Media related. We've got a lot of visitors right now over at 4star.live, and we appreciate everyone who is watching and listening as always. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Hope everyone is doing well, as I said, on this Thursday evening. What a week of college football last week was. Just wild all the way around. Wouldn't you say, Nathan? Oh, Nathan is actually not in the room anymore. Very wild week last week in college football. If you've got any comments on last week's game, jump in here. Let us know what was your wildest storyline. We're going to talk a little bit about Brian Harsin in a little bit too as well. Can't go without talking about that, Nathan. Nathan, welcome to the show, man. I'm glad everyone is doing well tonight. Let's get into it, brother. Who you got? Nathan, what did you think of last week?
I'm sorry, Wes.
Can you hear me?
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. And what were you saying?
What did you think of last week's games?
Last week's games was a lot. You had a few upsets in there. I think the biggest one, in my opinion, is Notre Dame beating Syracuse. That was a lot of people saw a different Notre Dame team than we've seen in the beginning. They look more organized, more well balanced. This is a Notre Dame team that I'm gonna go ahead and say it has the potential to upset a lot of teams moving forward.
Yeah.
So that was a big upset against Syracuse, over Syracuse. So hats off to Notre Dame for that upset.
Oh, most definitely, man. I mean, I think the hottest storyline, and let's go ahead and dive into it, Nathan.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I wasn't really expecting Brian Harsin to lose his job as fast as he did.
No.
I was expecting it to happen postseason, honestly. But I will say this: once I found out that Cohen was coming over from Mississippi State, which he now makes the third athletic director from the university or from Mississippi State University to leave and go to another SEC school. I find that very intriguing. Once that move was announced, I thought something might happen. I just didn't think it happened that fast. So the question of the day or night, I guess you'd say, Nathan, is this: realistically, not only who does Auburn go get, but who would want the job with the expectations that we have seen put in place with this hiring right here?
All right, so you look at this, and no disrespect to Auburn whatsoever. It's a great program. It's actually it's a powerhouse. when you recruiting, when you go to Auburn, you got potential of being a great team, and that's what Auburn is. That's what you need as a coach going in, is knowing the expectations. So when you look at the coaches that are possibly available and the ones that they're going after, we heard names like Deion Sanders, Lane Kiffin, Hugh Freeze. We've heard Bill O'Brien. We've heard several other names. But I'm going to throw one in there for you.
Come on, give it to me.
Carolina Panthers former coach Matt Rule.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw his hat in the table.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw his name out there. But if out of all these coaches, I as much as I would love to see Deion at Auburn and coaching against the GOAT and Nick Saban, just to see the recruiting wise, because I think if anybody's to
I
give
just want to
Nick
see the
Saban a
Aflac
run,
commercial.
well, yeah, but just to give anybody a run, just to give Saban a run in Alabama on recruiting would be massive. But I do honestly think that I don't, and I'm sorry, everybody that Auburn fans, if y'all are hoping, I just don't see Deion doing it. I actually see Deion going to Georgia Tech in Atlanta. That's why I see Deion. All right. Now, if you want me to pick who I think they should go after, but they probably won't. If you want a chance to run the table, you got to go back and look at the guy that's upsetted the GOAT, Nick Saban, and that's Hugh Freeze.
Yeah,
I agree on that. Hugh Freeze belongs in the SEC. He belongs back. I know about his past. Dude has paid his price for all that. He's paid it. Yeah. All right. He's doing a remarkable job at Liberty. I think it's time for him to come back to the SEC and get Auburn. I think if anybody's to get Auburn back on track, Hugh Freeze can do that.
Hugh's got a way of doing it. We got some comments in the Heritage Fence live fan feedback over on Facebook. Richard Wright says money is the only thing that will bring big name coach, period. And after that, he put money. So, Nathan, I kind of feel like the scene in Jerry Maguire where he's like, show me the money.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this, man. I don't see Prime going there. I just don't.
I
can see Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech makes sense.
Got way too much money. Georgia Tech got way too much money. And for Deion to go to Georgia Tech, dude, he could make a run in the ACC. And I feel sorry for anybody. Now I'm going to throw this out there real quick. Here's the spinner, the head kicker that a lot of people are saying that they think is going to happen with Deion to leave Jackson State, is that Mike Norvell takes a job somewhere else, leaves Florida State, and Deion goes as coach at Florida State.
I don't know. I mean, let me start by saying this. I give Deion Sanders the utmost amount of credit for the job he has done at Jackson State.
He is
no
swag.
question.
I'm going to say it on this. I'm going to say it on this show. He is swag. He is downright swag.
He's modern day swag. Let's put it that way. I don't. I mean, you got to look at. I don't know, man. There's been some legendary guys come out of swag, but when you look at Prime's got that instant aura about him that you just want to go hang out with him. You want to go dap him up. You want to dance with him on the field before the game starts. I love the swagger in Prime. I do. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Penny Hardaway at Memphis. You know, yeah. I mean, when you bring somebody back, do you have patience for the program, or do you have patience for the beloved player / coach?
Right.
That's just kind of where I'm at with Deion in Florida State. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Mike Norvell goes anywhere, honestly.
You don't think
now. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think Mike Norvell stays put in Tallahassee. There's fans that like him. There's fans that don't. Hell, there's fans that don't like Nick Saban. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just the nature of the beast in college athletics right now. Yeah, man, when you look at Auburn, that's an intriguing storyline. I do really, really, really like the athletic director hire there. I think that was a really good hire. You've got some really good NIL opportunities at Auburn. Now they're also at Mississippi State. Now that he's left, evidently. I saw an article today that there was some opportunities there. But I mean, I saw where somebody said something about Sam Pittman going to Auburn. There's no way. Sam Pittman's not leaving. He's not leaving Fayetteville, Arkansas. I can tell you that. Full disclosure, I'm in Fayetteville, Arkansas right now.
Let me tell you something. That's like them saying Lane Kiffin will leave Ole Miss. Let me say something real quick.
I think that's got legs to it, man. I think it does.
But hold on. Lane Kiffin, after what he's accomplished at Ole Miss and his recruiting at Ole Miss and the talent he has pulled into Ole Miss.
Oh yeah.
I think that he is perfectly fine and happy where he's at Ole Miss and what he's doing. He is pushing Ole Miss to the limit. All right. He is bringing them into where they're shining. They're bringing in these talented running backs. Yeah. I mean, if nobody has watched Ole Miss play football and don't know what we're talking about when we talk about Judkins,
it's fun to watch.
And Zachary Evans, Mingo as a wideout. I mean, you got to just take a chance and watch Ole Miss play football.
Yeah,
these guys, the talent that Lane Kiffin has brought over at Ole Miss, defensive side and offensive side and special teams, is just downright crazy stupid how talented these guys
completely
are.
Agree. 110% agree.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a wild football season for coaches getting fired. We're in week 10 now, and I believe this is what, the 6th or 7th coach to be fired already this early in the season.
I mean, dude,
a lot of it has to do with the recruiting. We know that.
Right. And it's gotten to the point we've lost track. Coaches being fired after games on the freaking field. You've had coaches being fired. Shortly after struggle win or struggle loss. I mean, it's no coach is safe at this point.
Very true. Very true. One more point on this before we move on to the next topic. I do want to say this about Lane Kiffin. All those things you named about him, that's why Auburn wants him. Because he can come in and immediately flip that program. And all credit to Josh Heupel. I mean, let's be real here. He's done one hell of a job, and we're going to talk about him here in just a little bit for the Georgia game. But to come in, you got 30 new players on that team, or I believe over 30. Yeah. It's an insane number. Lane Kiffin is portal king. There's no match. I don't think for what he's done. Mike Norvell's done a really good job in Tallahassee. But man, Lane Kiffin has done a stellar job down in Oxford. Definitely, for sure. We thank you, everybody watching and listening right now over on 4 Star Sports Media Facebook and YouTube page, and also on our Twitter page, and at Inside the Hog Pen on Facebook as well. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Well, speaking of coaches, Nathan, who are some coaches out there that stock may be rising?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Josh Heupel, definitely.
He ain't going nowhere.
He's not going anywhere, but his stock is rising.
Okay. I'm sorry. True. Very good point. I guess I didn't put the rest of the question out there. I apologize.
You might want to put a little bit more into it.
But yeah, who out there is stock and is rising that could take one of the open jobs? Let me rephrase this.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me go edit this right now, actually.
To take an open job, I'll say Lane Kiffin. I'll say Hugh Freeze. But you know what? I'm going to stick with what I said before. I'm going to stick with Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze is just it's crazy. A team like Liberty, a lot of people have never heard of Liberty. All right.
Yeah.
Until Hugh Freeze got there and turned that program around. I mean, look at the talent that came out of Liberty. I mean, they've had quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. They're a talented program, and that's all due to Hugh. They took a chance on Hugh Freeze. So I see Hugh Freeze taking I see Hugh Freeze taking a shot at one of these, and I'll go ahead and mention this as well as a Alabama fan, Bill O'Brien. I feel like there's a lot of potential for Bill O'Brien to go to one of these programs. There was rumors stirred up that he was going to Auburn. There's rumors saying he's top candidate for Nebraska. I think Bill O'Brien has got his feet wet enough in college football under Nick Saban that he's ready to get out there and see what he can do as a head coach.
Completely agree.
Bill O'Brien's another one.
And on the Bill O'Brien thing, Nathan, when you look at it, man, not all the job he did it in Houston with the Texans, but if you look at the mountainous job he had to take at Penn State, if you look at the timing of all that and everything involved, the job that he did at Penn State was absolutely incredible.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. And I think that's where a lot of teams, not that they didn't already know about him, but I think that's where he gained a lot more notoriety and a lot more,
Well, yeah, and I'm going to throw another name out there for you, and I just want to get your reaction.
Sure.
And don't down it just yet, but let me see what you think. Urban Meyer.
Man, I think with Urban, it's kind of like John Gruden in a sense. You're going to hear Bob Stoops' name is going to be mentioned. It wouldn't shock me if you didn't hear John Gruden's name somewhere. I don't understand why.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Don't be surprised if you don't even hear Dan Mullen deciding to get out from behind that desk and getting over there at one of the programs.
That wouldn't shock me one bit. I think if you're Auburn, there's a connection there. So,
but see now here's my curveball for everybody listening.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be surprised, and this has happened. We've seen programs do this.
Yeah,
their intern is a running back, a legend, a beast, Cadillac Williams, and he's the interim head coach right now at Auburn.
Yeah.
Do not be surprised if he gets a head coaching job, if he can finish off the rest of the season with a victory, including if he can beat Alabama.
I don't disagree with that statement one bit. I completely agree with you.
I mean, we've seen a lot of teams do it. A lot of teams like, okay, well, we like this intern. Yeah, we're going to give him the head coach job. We'll give him a couple of years, see how he does.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss did it. I mean,
I think the guy at Wisconsin could very well get that job. Don't be shocked if the guy at Nebraska doesn't keep that job. Especially if these teams continue to progress and build chemistry together. Why would you? I mean, it's very similar to Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. He was brought in as the interim, and then we hired him. I mean, you want to keep that continuity going. I think a guy like Jamie Chadwell, UNC Charlotte, not UNC Charlotte, Coastal Carolina. I'm sorry. Jamie Chadwell could be a guy. Another guy would be Monken from Georgia, the Georgia offensive coordinator. Man, it wouldn't shock me if you didn't see somebody like Matt Campbell from Iowa State finally make that jump and get out of there. Exactly. I say get out of there, not in that sense. I think the job that Lance Leopold's done at Kansas will get some interest. I mean, I really do. I honestly hope he doesn't leave Kansas. And it was really sad to watch that quarterback go down because, I mean, that team was really fun to watch.
And to see that talent in him to go down like that and have suffered an injury, you hate seeing it. But he's a young talent, so he will definitely be bouncing back from that. But I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna give you one more.
Which guy?
We're gonna say Bill O'Brien leaves. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna say he leaves Alabama. Let's say he goes to Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about head coach stock, but I'm gonna get away from head coach stock. Don't be surprised if you see Scott Frost go to the school Nick Saban coaching at Alabama.
Oh, I think that conversation's probably already been had.
Oh, it's probably already had. The paper's already probably been signed.
He's probably already got a daggum apartment rented out somewhere.
Probably
for sure.
Penthouse suite or something. Maybe that's
exactly.
Something.
No doubt. Well, Nathan, let's take a quick break, man. When we come back from break, going to a little college football playoff because there's some things there that we need to pick up, buddy. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is College Football Roundtable, or Four-Star Roundtable College Football Edition. I'm Westbrook. Got Nathan Wilson in the house, and you're listening to it on the Four-Star Sports Radio Network. Be right back. Welcome back. Got Nathan Wilson in the house with me tonight. You are watching and listening to the Four-Star Roundtable College Football Edition, Week 10. Week 10, Nathan. How are we already in Week 10 of the college football season?
Man, it's going by way too fast. I don't like this.
It really
we
is,
just got
man.
college football back, and now it's we're almost through with it. I'm just ready to let go yet.
Yeah. So you know how it works, man. Every year for the last 9 years now, they have had the college football playoff. So the top 25 came out this Tuesday night. There was some things that were shocking to me, some things that I kind of saw coming. Let's run through them, Nathan, if you want to, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. We'll just go with the top 6.
Okay.
7. We'll go 7.
Yeah, go 7. Go 7.
Right.
There's a lot to talk with it. 7.
So we'll start with 7. Number 7 is TCU. It comes in at 8-0.
Right.
Okay, we're just gonna leave that there for a second. Let it kind of marinate, kind of hang out.
Marinate.
Yeah,
you can hang it out. Let it hang out.
You know, chill by the pool. You know, just kind of post up, as the kids like to say. I'm just gonna post up. All right, number 6. Team near and dear to your heart, Alabama Crimson Tide, coming in at 7-1.
Yep.
You know, let that marinate for a second. Okay. 5 is the Michigan Wolverines, coming in at 8-0. Number 4 is the Clemson Tigers, coming in at 8-0. Number 3 is the Georgia Bulldogs, coming in at 8-0. Yep. Ohio State fills the number 2 slot at 8-0, which means everybody knows who's number 1. University of Tennessee at 8-0. Well deserved for University of Tennessee and their fan base. I will say
most
that.
Definitely. Most definitely. Let's
start with number 7, Nathan.
Okay.
TCU 8-0, unblemished, no losses. In those 8 losses, or I'm sorry, in those 8 wins, 4 of them came in consecutive weeks over top 25 teams.
Yeah.
I'll say that one more time. 4 of the 8 really, they've all come in consecutive weeks because they haven't lost a game. But out of these 8 wins, 4 of which were back-to-back, top 25 wins. Okay. Why are they not? I was on the media call Tuesday night with Boo Hankins and I can't think the other guy's name now. It slips my mind. The president. And they talked about this. Okay. They said that they were looking for balanced teams. Right?
Yeah.
They mentioned TCU and said they had to come from behind, win some games.
Yep.
But does it matter? They're 8-0. They haven't lost. They beat 4 top 25 teams. 4. I understand you're an Alabama fan. Okay. I get it, buddy. I get it. But do you and I'm gonna get to Alabama more in a second. Do you think it's right that an unblemished team that has beat 4 top 25 teams in a row. Which, look at their resume, look at their body of work, look at the wins. How are they ranked over a team with one loss when everybody else in between them has no losses?
Okay, so when you look at this, and I'm not trying to down any program whatsoever, but you've got the Big 12. There's a lot of talent in the Big 12. I'm not going to take that away. We've seen a lot of blow-ups. We've seen Texas blow up. We've seen Oklahoma shockingly blow up. We've seen Oklahoma State get upset we've seen Kansas State step out of nowhere. We've seen Kansas step out of nowhere. And we've seen TCU step up. But when you put these Big 12 teams in the situation, okay, let's say we give TCU number 5. I'm going to jump it. I'm going to go to 5. Okay. You give TCU number 5.
So in that scenario, you put Michigan at 6?
I would put Michigan at 6. I do.
Okay.
I will put Michigan at 6. No.
So you would leave Clemson you would leave Clemson at 4?
All right. This is how I would leave it. Alabama, I would leave at 6. I will put TCU at 5. Okay, because I'd love to see the matchup between TCU and Alabama. Now, do I think both programs are better than Michigan? Yes. Do I see Michigan beating Ohio State? No. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
The fact that it's going to be at Ohio State at the Horseshoe, no, it's not going to happen. Ohio State's got too much talent, too much firepower.
Right.
And Michigan is struggling with, they got this freshman, I think he's a freshman at quarterback right now.
McCarthy, isn't that his name? Or
no, that's Purdy, I think, or something like
that. He can play.
Anyway,
he's not
he can play. He can ball. But I just don't see Michigan being better than Alabama. I don't see Michigan being better than TCU. Now, I will say this about TCU and Alabama. If those two face off, you've got a hell of a game. TCU is a good team and with a hell of a program and a hell of a coach. But I will put TCU at 5. But I still have a feeling TCU is on upset alert. They are one of my teams that I feel will be on upset alert. Because you got to think of it. We still got the Big 12 championship game coming up.
Good point.
And there ain't no telling who's going to run on that side.
Yeah. And then on the other end of it, don't forget about Brett Bielema and Illinois in the Big 10.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't forget about them. They're sneaky, man.
And look, and Clemson's not safe either. Clemson's got, look, I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody listening because we won't talk about it much. Clemson's got Notre Dame this weekend. Mm-hmm. Clemson can't even decide what quarterback they're going to go with right now. You pull DJ out, and I've said this in the group, in our group conversations, and we talk about it a lot. But I've told you, you're ruining a quarterback's confidence, a quarterback that you depended on for a few seasons, and you're just going to pull him. And then at the end of the game, you're going to be like, well, we like
still
DJ.
Our guy.
Yeah, he's still our guy. But yet you pulled him? It makes no sense. And that's why I'm telling you, this Notre Dame team is looking to upset somebody.
I agree.
And I'm saying, Clemson, watch out. But I'm not going to even say just Notre Dame. You've got a tough task in the ACC championship game because you got one team that has put a name out, and their quarterback has put a name for himself. And that's North Carolina Tar Heels.
Man, I tell you what, speaking of TCU, I think the quarterback, Max Duggan, he's a sneaky Heisman, Nathan. Like, he's putting up great numbers. He plays with poise. Yep. Who had Sonny Dykes going to TCU and being 8-0 and ranked
nobody
7th on their bingo card? I tell you what, I think we need to start playing a college football bingo and just put just the most random crap we can think of on there and just see what lands. Because that's the way college football has been the last few years.
Right.
Vanderbilt starting out, 3-0, whatever it was. Yep. I mean, Kansas starting out 5-0, 4-0, whatever they were. I mean, it's just been a wild season so far, man.
But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this though, because I was talking to one of the guys at my work. Here's what his prediction was. And it's crazy, but it just might happen. What would you say if I was to tell you Alabama runs it? Alabama wins. Tennessee beats Georgia. Tennessee, Alabama play in the SEC championship. Alabama wins the SEC championship. And now you have 3 SEC teams in the college football playoff. Ohio State beats Michigan.
Yeah.
Ohio State beats Michigan. Clemson gets knocked out by Notre Dame and then loses to North Carolina. TCU steps up but gets knocked out in the Big 12 championship. You have 3 teams in the SEC ready to freaking duel it out.
That is Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner's dream.
And that's what I'm saying.
I mean, really, his dream is to get 4. But really, let's sit back and think about this, though. What about, does LSU have a shot?
I'm going to say this. LSU.
They lost to Florida State week 1. They've only lost 1 other conference game. Mm-hmm. No, sorry. That's their only loss. I think that – no. They've lost 2. So they lost to Tennessee.
Yep.
So they've got a chance. And I know it's an outside chance. It's a very outside
It is an outside chance. But I want you to hear me out. This is how outside of a chance. They've already beaten Ole Miss. If they beat Alabama, then they have to win out. But that's also saying they have to beat a Sam Pittman Arkansas team.
This is true.
And you never know what's going to now. Everybody knows I can't stand Brian Kelly. Mm-hmm. I can't stand the fact that I had a list of coaches that that should have been at LSU instead of Brian Kelly. All right. I had better picks than Brian Kelly. But I will say this. Brian Kelly is a coach we've seen get his team up to the holy grounds of the college football playoff. And Wes, what happens every time he gets that team up there?
They get smashed every time.
Exactly. Every freaking time.
I know.
It don't matter.
And I mean, here's the thing.
But here's the thing. I'm going to say this real quick. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and everybody said, oh, well, it's because it's Notre Dame. Notre Dame used to dominate, dude. Notre Dame used to run over people. Yeah. And since Brian Kelly left, Notre Dame is getting back to upsetting people right now.
Oh, I agree.
So, Lane, Brian Kelly, LSU, I mean, it's going to be a good matchup, and we'll talk more about the Alabama-LSU game. But, yes, a lot of teams have a chance. But don't be shocked if Alabama runs it, because everybody knows that a one-loss Alabama team is a dangerous team to face. Because right now, we cannot afford to lose. Alabama cannot afford to lose. If they lose, that's it. And there's been bold predictions saying that, well, Alabama will lose the SEC championship and they'll go to the Sugar Bowl and face off against TCU in the Sugar Bowl. And if that happens, that's going to be one hell of a game.
That's going to be a really fun game, man. Really fun game. Nathan, let's take a quick break, man. When we come back, we're going to jump into our games of the week right here on the 4-Star Roundtable, presented to you by the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Four-Star Roundtable. I'm your host, Wes Pruitt. Got Nathan Wilson in the house with me tonight. Nate, it's been a good show so far, man. Pretty jam-packed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, a lot of information, man.
It really has been. It's been jam-packed 35 minutes. I feel like we've been going longer than that. Now it is time, my friend, to get to some college football games, and we have got some doozies between some majorly talented college football teams around the country. Let's get it started now, man. Number 25, Central Florida travels to Memphis to take on the Tigers. Central Florida leads this series, Nathan, 14-2 all time. Last year, Central Florida knocked off Memphis 24-7. And they currently lead the record in Memphis 6-2. Well, I know I went to Rossville, but I know math well enough to figure out that Memphis has won both games against Central Florida at home, both games in the series. So it's going to be interesting, man. Tigers have lost 3 straight coming into this game. Silverfield seats getting a little warm by some fans' standards. I'll keep my personal opinions to myself. I've been told in some forums and groups on Facebook that's the best way to be. Is just shut up and stay to yourself. But whatever. We've got people that watch us. I don't care what people tell me on Facebook in certain Memphis Tiger football fan pages that suck. The page freaking sucks. But anyway, give me the Tigers, Nathan, to pull the shocker at Liberty Bowl Stadium. The weather was supposed to be a little wet and rainy. Talked to my stepdad today. He said all that's supposed to move out. It's supposed to be a nice day for some football. So if you were in the Memphis area, wear blue, all blue. Tigers are wearing all blue, I believe, for the first time in quite some time. Kind of reminds you of the Tennessee 1996 football game when the Tigers came out in all blue for the first time ever at that point in time. But Nathan, Tigers must win. Winning cures everything, man. Give me the Tigers. I think it's close. I think it's damn close. I think we win by like 6 or something. But give me Memphis to pull the shocker. What about you, man?
Okay, so we talked about this before we aired the show, about Plumlee. Plumlee is a difference maker for that UCF offense. Now I know they're going with their backup, who actually did a hell of a job last year with UCF, but Plumlee is there. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that say like, "Oh yeah, he's just like this." Plumlee's a different caliber. Coming from Ole Miss, waiting to get his chance, and going to UCF and totally dominate. I mean, guy scored 7 touchdowns. Like it's nothing. He rushes for 3 of them,
Yeah.
But to not have him in the actual game, and with Memphis struggling, I've seen Seth Hennigan get rushed out of the pocket way too much. They've got to give him more pass protection to where he can go through his progressions and make good passes and good decisions. Skates, Joseph, did I say that right?
Yeah, Joseph Skates.
Okay. Yeah. Joseph Skates needs to play more. He is a talented wideout, and he needs to get the ball more. He is hell. I mean, he's really good at what he does. He is very talented. Now, I know a lot of people were talking about, and I didn't get a chance to watch the Tulane game, but I know a lot of people said, "Oh, Seth had him open, and he was open," all this kind of stuff. You can't expect a quarterback to hit a target when he's having to scramble out of the pocket so much.
Oh,
now,
yeah,
shout out to
go ahead,
but shout out to Seth Hennigan for picking up yards when he can.
Yeah.
But now this game's going to come down to the wire, and I hate this. I'm gonna go with UCF. I don't want to, but I know that UCF's going to end up winning. And I'm on. I mean, it just it hurts because I've seen this Memphis team win some amazing football games and play their hearts out, but they get it's something about the second half, man. And the Gus bus, it's rolling into Memphis, and it's probably going to be rolling out of Memphis with the W. So give me UCF in this one.
Speaking of Memphis, Memphis is coming off a bye week. I think that came at the most just beautiful time,
right?
Because it gives you a chance to get healthy. It gives you a chance to rest up, get your feet back under you, get your body ready for the second half grind, which is it's coming up, starting this Saturday. And this game from Memphis is massive. It is a massive football game. If this team loses 4 straight, it's not going to be pretty in the city of Memphis for sure. There's going to be some fans that are going to be absolutely livid. I personally know some fans that actually left at halftime of the last game. So there's some fans that are frustrated. But I like the fight that I saw second half from that football team, and I really hope that it continues this week. Next up, man, we've got Liberty traveling up here to the Hill in Fayetteville to take on the hometown Hogs. Liberty will be coming in, coached by Hugh Freeze. Nathan talked about him earlier. Proven winner, no matter where he's been, whether that's Briarcrest High School, Ole Miss, Arkansas State, Lambeth. It doesn't matter. Everywhere he's been a proven winner. He made some mistakes. It's his what it is, and you move on. But he's bringing his Liberty Flames into town for the first time ever. The two teams will meet on the football field. It's going to be a very interesting game with the latest news. This game started out at I believe, 4.5 point favorite for the Hogs. But with the latest news that Liberty will be down to their third string quarterback and also down to their second string running back, the line has now jumped to, I believe, 14 and a half, something like that, in favor of Arkansas. And I think Arkansas, I wrote an article about it earlier. It's at Last Word on Sports if you guys want to go read it. But when you look at Arkansas, the running game is too strong. And I also think that with this being their third/fourth team quarterback, maybe it'll give this secondary a little bit more of a confidence building game to get ready for a tough slate coming up to finish the season against some teams that can really, really sling the football. And this season so far, Nathan, if you've had any pulse at all when it comes to throwing a football against Arkansas, you've moved the ball on them. I think the running game's too strong between Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders, I should say, Raheem Rocket Sanders, KJ Jefferson, and all the boys up front in the trenches. Arkansas is tough. Give me Arkansas to win this game, and I think they run Liberty off the field. I think Arkansas wins by 21, 28 points possibly. What about you, Nate?
No, I can see that. Arkansas just plays different when they're in Fayetteville. A lot of things have happened to this Arkansas team here lately. They started off strong, then went downhill, and now Sam Pittman's got these boys playing ball again. And you're right, Arkansas's got some tough matchups coming up. They got Ole Miss, I believe, after they play Liberty. Or no, 2 weeks from now they got Ole Miss. Then they got LSU at the end. And I think y'all already played him.
You got Missouri to close the season in the border rivalry, which is not even a effing rivalry. But anyway,
anyways, though, I'm going to say this. I'm going to give it to. I think it would have been a closer game if Liberty had their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're going to come in with a third string, I see this Arkansas defense just making his day hell. If the guy ain't nervous, he's going to be nervous when he sees Bumper Pool, Sanders. I mean, when you see this high-powered defense from Arkansas on the opposite side, your hand's going to start shaking because these boys love to blitz. These Hogs are blitzing. are blitzing left and right. They're not afraid to send the blitz. KJ, I saw an outstanding performance by KJ Jefferson this season, and he's done an amazing job. Sanders has done just hell of a job running the football. So yeah, this Sam Pittman team, I'm gonna back you up on it. 21, 28 points. I mean, by halftime, you might as well just turn something else on because Arkansas is gonna brutal. And I'm gonna say it: if they beat the dog mess out of Liberty, don't be surprised if Hugh Freeze is gone and taking a job somewhere else.
Man, if it happens 2 weeks in a row, that'd be crazy. They beat Auburn, Brian Harston's gone. They beat Liberty, Hugh Freeze takes the job. That'll be interesting. Up next, man, we've got no doubt about it, the game of the week, possibly even one of the games of the year right here, going down in Athens, Georgia, between number 1 Tennessee and number 3 Georgia. This game is going to be freaking wild, man. Georgia actually leads the overall series right now, 26-23-2. In Athens, 11-13-1. And Georgia has won 5 straight in this series. So Tennessee is looking to get another monkey off its back on this special season that they've had thus far in 2022. Nathan, I've talked about it the last couple of weeks, man. This Tennessee offense puts pressure on defenses. They spread you out all the way to the very, very edge of the field. They're running mesh concepts. They're sending guys deep on every single play. Every single play has a bomb threat in this offense, and it really strains the linebacker position a lot because you've got to spread those linebackers out, put them on guys that are much more agile, much more quick twitchy, and can get up the field or just get away because you're going to have to play man. And it's. I mean, I didn't think. Look, here's the deal. I didn't think that Tennessee was going to get past. I picked Tennessee to beat Alabama, but I just didn't know when that game started. That's one of the very few times I have picked against Nick Saban and it's hit. Yeah. I think it's happened like twice ever. I believe that was the Utah bowl game a few years back, and then
that was Urban Meyer in Utah State.
Yeah, Utah.
Oh no, not Utah. Yeah. It was Utah. Urban Meyer in Utah was the beater. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Sugar Bowl, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
But it happened. Tennessee beat Alabama, and it was looking like it was going to get ugly for a minute, to be honest with you. Definite kudos to Bryce Young. He put that team on his back and led Bama back to make it a game close.
Definitely.
Make it a game until the very end. Right. But when you look at Tennessee, like I said, they spread you out. They do a lot of different things. Georgia has got major talent in their secondary. Top their 2 safeties going to be top 1, 2, 3 round draft picks, first 2 thirds, somewhere in there. If you're a top 3 or a 3rd round draft pick, you're talented. And hell, if you make it to the NFL, you're talented. Let's not even just go there. And then they got a corner that can flat out shut you down. You're on the island over there, buddy. It ain't going. You throw over there if you want to. You're gonna get picked, and it's gonna be taken back to the house. But when you look at Georgia, look at what they lost, Nathan. They lost a lot. I know we talked about it preseason, and we talked about it other times as well.
I mean, not to mention they just lost the edge rusher too.
Yeah, you're right. They did. Man, I got to go Tennessee again.
You gonna go Tennessee again?
I mean, I'm not quote unquote drinking the Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not hyping them up. No pun intended with Josh Heupel's name, but I think they've got something special going. I mean, it's the best season that they've had since 1998. Then 1998. Oh yeah, that's the same year they won the national championship. This football team is good. Anybody that tells me this football team is trash or they suck or whatever, I'm going to laugh in your face like a damn hyena because this football team is really, really good, Nathan.
Right. No, and I agree. I mean, this is coming from a Bama fan. You've got to understand something. That game against Alabama, and I wasn't able to be on the show, for had work and everything.
Yeah.
But I would love to say this now. Everybody that called me was all like, "Oh, we beat y'all, blah blah blah, blah blah blah."
Man, I bet you were getting hella trash talking to you.
But here's the thing, and here's what I told them. They said, "I bet you're so mad." I'm not. I wasn't even mad, dude. I loved it. I loved that matchup. I love that game of the year. Anybody that's a diehard Tennessee fan, and y'all know the diehard Tennessee fans, y'all know who I'm talking
Hell
about.
yeah, we
the
do.
ones that had to go through Lane Kiffin era, Butch Jones
Dooley
era.
Guys,
I mean, the guys that stuck with Tennessee through them all. I'm not talking about these guys
brick by brick. Yeah.
Well, I'm not talking about these guys from last year that after Tennessee had a horrible season, and they were already saying, we need to fire Josh Heupel. He needs to be fired.
That's what's wrong with the Memphis fan base. They're fickle as hell. Go ahead.
And see, but the diehard Tennessee fans know what I'm talking about, and so the diehard Alabama fans know what I'm talking about when I say this. Y'all don't understand how close the Tennessee-Alabama game used to be decided. It was always by 3 points. Always. And it was back and forth of who was going to win it. Tennessee came out. They picked apart our DBs. I mean, when you got a one DB and he got thrown several times his way, 5 touchdowns. You got Hyatt scoring 5 touchdowns on one DB.
Yeah. I would not have want to been that guy in film study with Nick Saban.
And you got to understand, as a Bama fan, we were sitting there like, oh my God, okay, we have the top defensive back in the SEC, and Eli Ricks, who is also a former LSU player, on the sidelines right now. Why are we not playing him? And shout out to him for stepping up in the game against Mississippi State. I'll talk about that in the next one. But talking about this Tennessee team, Hooker is an outstanding quarterback. He deserves to be in the Heisman talk. He went out there. He did his thing. He's been doing his thing at Tennessee. He came from Virginia Tech. He is a winner. He is a competitor. But I'm going to say this. He's going to be put to the test. Georgia's DBs are like NFL-style DBs. These guys are stupid talented. Not to mention, you're not in Knoxville for this game. You're going to be in Athens, Georgia.
Very true.
And they're already talking. A lot of Tennessee fans are already talking that smack already. Talking, we're gonna dog y'all and all this, but you got to understand, Georgia has a tendency to show up, beat someone's tail, and walk them dry.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And when you come against Georgia, Stinson Bennett, I'm going to give the man credit. I mean, we've seen what he can do.
Flip phone B. Yeah.
But there's one guy, Bowers.
Oh, he's nasty.
The freaking nastiest tight end I've seen.
So glad I got him on my college football fantasy team. So glad.
I mean, just he reminds me of, you put Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and Rob Gronkowski all together, and you got Bowers. He can run the ball. He can do it all. But you also got a lot of other talent and running backs on this Georgia team. Now, I'm going to say this, and if it was in Knoxville, I'd pull for Tennessee. But it's in Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
This is Kirby Smart we're talking about, a defensive-minded coach.
True.
It's not going to be no blowout, guys. It's not going to be no high-scoring shootout like it was Alabama and Tennessee. It's going to come down to the nitty-gritty. It's going to be a low-scoring ball game because Josh Heupel is an offensive-minded coach, Kirby Smart, defensive-minded coach. And not to mention, Wes, you want to take a guess of this? And you probably know the answer. Where did Josh Heupel play his college football at as quarterback?
Josh Heupel was at Oklahoma.
There you go. He's a Boomer Sooner.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, but it's just not going to happen with Tennessee. This is going to be that one loss that they're going to take, that one L.
It could very well happen. And, I mean, one thing about this game, and you just mentioned it, great point. the physicality of this game. Georgia is going to try to out-physical Tennessee for 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the opening snap, it's not going to be like the Alabama game. Georgia doesn't really have the availability on their roster right now to really stretch the Tennessee defense from a lateral or from a vertical position. It's going to be turning around and hand the ball off, and it's time to nut up or shut up. You're about to get run over, or you're going to get run by. You gotta go get some legs, and make some tackles for sure.
So here's my pick. I'm going with Georgia, and I'm gonna say Georgia in a close one.
Okay. All right, man. We're gonna take a quick break, right quick. We'll come back. We've got 3 more games to pick, Nate. 3 more, and then we'll be done. Welcome back, everybody, to the 4-Star Roundtable. I am your host, Wes Pruitt. Got Big Nate Wilson in the house with me, as always. We are smack dab in the middle of picking games. We got 3 more to go, Nathan. I took a break on purpose, buddy, because I knew you were looking forward to the next game. 3 more to go, and a big one going on down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, between the number 6 Alabama Crimson Tide and the number 10 LSU Bengal Tigers. Man, Nathan, this is going to be a hell of a football game down in Baton Rouge. Bama leads the overall 55-26-5. It is the 87th meeting between these 2 rivals from the SEC.
Yep.
Of course, you're going to have all the Knicks. It's the Nick Saban Bowl. It's the Saban Bowl. Who's going to win the Saban Bowl, baby? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, Corso's going to be on game day. I really hope Corso's back on game day, by the way.
I do too.
But I know as of last week, he was going through some health issues. Definitely prayers for him and his family for sure. But, man, when you really get down to it, Nathan, I got to go with LSU, man. There's something about this Brian Kelly. There's something about Brian Kelly. There's something about this quarterback down there. Jaden Daniels. And this team is starting to eat the gumbo that Brian Kelly's cooking down in Baton Rouge, man. I don't know if it's the gumbo, the jambalaya that him and his family, like to eat down there. I'm sure they eat beignets every damn day because they're so Cajun. I mean, I'm sure it's etouffee for dinner every night. I'm sure it's gumbo, etouffee. Ain't no ground beef. It's ground gator. You know what I mean? Like
ground gator.
It's everything.
Some batolaya.
Yeah, exactly. Put it in the jambalaya. It's Brian Kelly is straight Cajun. We all. I don't know how we all didn't know this. I mean. I didn't hear that when he was at Notre Dame, but he gets to Baton Rouge, and now he's got a family, so that he loves and he cares for. Then he has gumbo with every night. But give me LSU in this game, man. I like this LSU football team. I like the path that they're going. I honestly, when you look at back in the grand scheme of things, I think that Brian Kelly and LSU is really glad. I wouldn't say really glad. I think they're they're glad they played like crap against Florida State.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they just get, they just sat on the toilet, took a fat one, got it all out, and then moved on. That's basically what LSU's season has been. It has been the beginning of it was a shit, and then they just moved on. And I mean, I'm probably going to clip this and put it somewhere, but I mean, really, that's what that's what LSU's football season's been. They're number 10. Who had number 10? Who had another bingo card? Who had LSU at number 10 in the first college football rankings? As Cat Williams would say, "Don't worry, I'll wait."
Yeah.
Nathan, I don't even have to ask who you got in this game. I already know who you're taking. You're going to take your boys, but
I want to say this.
All right, before you do, let me ask you one question just to kind of lead you in. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Would you be pissed? Of course, I know you would. How mad would you be if Brian Kelly beats Nick Saban in his first shot at him at LSU?
Look, that's a hard pill to swallow.
That's a fat ass pill to swallow for all Alabama.
Alabama has been beating Brian Kelly at
like
every chance we got when he was at Notre Dame, and now he says this is why it was a statement. This is why I came to LSU and all this. And yes, Saban is the GOAT. Everybody knows that. Anybody that says otherwise, well, you show me a coach that comes into a program and dominates the way he did and surpass a legend, Paul Bear Bryant, and has Alabama with 17 national titles.
Is it 17, man? I feel 17, like some Alabama 17, fans every time they answer the question, it's like 2 million.
So it's 17 national titles at Alabama right now. We're chasing 18.
Okay.
So he comes in, so he is the GOAT. But it's also Saban's returning to LSU and all this. But it's also we got a few other guys. We got one more other guy, Eli Ricks. Returns to Baton Rouge to face his former teammates at LSU. Eli Ricks, for those who don't know who that is, Eli Ricks is at LSU during the Ed Ogeron era was a beast at DB. They call LSU DBU because they produce some hell of a DBs at LSU. Eli Ricks finally got his first start against Mississippi State 2 weeks ago, where he only allowed one reception for, I think it was like 10 yards or something. That was the only reception that he allowed, and he was targeted over there 9 different times. He is actually playing the way Alabama plays. He's got into the talent the momentum we take. And everything we bring to the field. And I'm glad to see him get his start. You got Bryce Young, who said in an interview just recently that he feels very well rested after coming off that bye week. So you got Bryce Young coming in healthy, which is great because everybody knows that when we played Mississippi State, he was still having that shoulder situation. And anybody that watched him play Tennessee, he took a beating and got back up and kept playing. He is a warrior, a soldier. I mean, he it's like you said, Wes. He carries the team on his back. Mm-hmm. But we're going into Baton Rouge at night, and everybody knows it's the hardest time to play LSU is at night in Baton Rouge because it gets rowdy in Death Valley.
Because they start drinking at 2:00 that morning and get ready for the game.
But I'm going to say this. Alabama wins this game. Alabama, Will Anderson, all them guys, they came back to chase a championship. Because it was in their hands, and they just got taken away by Georgia. They said, each one of them have said in an interview that they have made a statement and made each other realize, everyone on that team realize that this is it. Mm-hmm. They have to win it out. They cannot afford to lose. It's all or nothing now. So this team, this Alabama team, they have what they say, what they were saying. Our season starts now. We got four more games.
Yeah.
Our season starts now. We got to go 4-0 or
they're
5
not easy
or 5-0.
games. They're
No,
not easy games.
we gotta go 5-0. Alabama feels disrespected at being number 6, but I like it. I'm glad they put us at number 6. I'm glad we're not up there chasing that number 1, holding that number 2 spot, holding that number 1 spot, 3 spot, 4 spot. Put us down low, because that gives this Alabama team a fighting spirit. Lets them know that y'all want to disrespect us. Okay, well, it's time for us to show y'all why we're held to a different standard and why we are Alabama and why we chose to come to this program. So I got Alabama coming into this game. I think it's a 2-touchdown spread. I think is when I last checked it. I think it was 14.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the 14.
Okay.
I think Alabama's going to come in. I think everybody's going to see a different Alabama team. And like I said, this is all or nothing. Everybody knows we're about to lose a lot of players in this draft coming up. So this is it. This is it. So give me Alabama in this one. But I do want to say this. Shout out to Jaden Daniels at LSU. Just how talented that man is to come from Arizona State and come to the SEC and perform the way he did against Ole Miss was just remarkable and outstanding. And so I'll give my respect where it's due. Brian Kelly, sorry. Sorry, Brian, I ain't giving Kelly no respect yet. But I am going to take Alabama. They're going to get the win in Death Valley for sure.
Okay. Speaking of Alabama, we just talked about Tennessee being ranked number 1 on that call, on that media call with just the media members, not ESPN. It was just reporters was what we were labeled as. But he had made the statement, and he may have made the same statement on TV as well. But he made the statement that the reason that they put Tennessee number 1 instead of Ohio State is because of the value that Alabama holds in the eyes of the committee based on not just this season, but what they've done as a whole. And I think that really speaks a lot for Alabama and what Nick Saban's built there. Up next, man, we've got what used to be one of my. It's still one of my favorite games.
Can I say it? Can I say it?
Wide right, wide left.
There you go.
This has just been one of my favorite games my entire life. Just you can call it the Thug Bowl, whatever you want to call it. Man, this game was just always fun. But Florida State travels down to Miami to take on the Hurricanes. Mike Norvell, of course, is the head coach at Florida State, and Mario Cristobal is the head coach at Miami. Two teams searching for a win for sure. Miami has not had that great of a season. It's been a little bit of more of a rebuilding year than I think, or process, and I think some may have expected down there in Coral Gables for Mr. Cristobal. But he had a whole culture change. He had to come in and completely change the culture of that program compared to what it was when Manny Diaz was there. Then you've got Mike Norvell on the Florida State side. Started the season off really well. Lost to Wake Forest, turned around and lost to Clemson also as well. Florida State's really need to win here, and it's always nice to beat your rival. When you look at the series, Miami the lead 33-31. Florida State, since 2004, when Miami joined the ACC conference, Florida State is leads the series 11-7 and 6. They are 6-3 on the road. So since 2004, Florida State has pretty well owned this series. But Nathan, man, I got to go with Florida State in this one. I wouldn't be shocked if this game wasn't a little bit closer than some may think. I think this Miami team is starting to buy in somewhat to what Cristobal is trying to accomplish there. And I think they give Cristobal plenty of time. He's a he's a Miami guy. So,
Yeah.
and same with Florida State. I know we talked about it earlier. I don't see Mike Norvell going anywhere as of right now, anyway. But like I said, give me Florida State to get the win. Jordan Travis is an amazing quarterback. Loved what this young man has done this season. Florida State's got one of the best running back duos in the nation as well. Mixed in with a defense that's pretty daggum talented and a special teams that's pretty talented as well. But give me the Seminoles to get the win over the Hurricanes. What about you, Nate?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Florida State, Mike Norvell in this one. Miami, at the beginning of the season, I had them picked, and I was giving them so much praise. I was like, this is the Miami team back now. This is the Miami team that a lot of people feared back in the day, and Miami has just gone into a complete slump. Van Dyke has not been on his A game like everybody hyped him up to be. But Mike Norvell, what he's done at Florida State is truly remarkable, and that fan base is what I'm hearing loving Mike Norvell. They're glad to see him. They're glad what he's done at the program, to see what he's brought to the program. Give me Florida State in this one. If anybody's kicking wide left, wide right, it's going to be Miami, because Florida State's going to be spot on in this game.
I agree, man. I agree. Up next, we got the last game of the night, and it's a big one out in the state of North Carolina, as number 20 Wake Forest, out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, travels over to Raleigh, North Carolina, not too far away there from Winston-Salem, to take on the number 21 ranked NC State Wolfpack. Wolves up, baby. Wolves up. But that's what they do out there. Wolves up, man. Wolves up.
Wolfpack.
They do.
Wolfpack.
Yeah, looking like the NWO Wolfpack back in the day. Them, Arkansas State, like everybody does that. Yeah, it's still Wolfpack, man. Wolfpack. But get back. I tell you what, Sam Hartman, they did not look good in their last game, Nathan. 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers. It was quite ugly for the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. Dropped down to number 20 in the rankings this week in the college football ranking top 25. But give me the Demon Deacons to get the win, and get the ball rolling back their way. Once the quarterback for NC State went down, it really hurt their chances. And he was Dennis Leary is a talented young man. But give me Wake Forest. I think this defense turns around for them. I mean, let's be honest. If you have 8 daggum turnovers in the game, you're not going to win. I don't think. I mean, unless there's just some catastrophic event by the other team, I don't see yourself winning. But Nathan, give me the Demon Deacons, man.
Yeah, give me Wake Forest, and Sam Hartman coming off of a incredible, just at first we didn't think we'd ever see Sam Hartman touch the football field.
Yeah.
And him to come out and do what he's done. And everybody, I'm going to tell y'all this. If y'all want a little bit more depth into Sam Hartman, if you got Netflix, go to Netflix. QB1, Sam Hartman is in one of the seasons. And it's just truly, actually, he's in the same season as Spencer Rattler, who I'm not going to even mention about that.
That's your boy. You love Rattler.
Yeah. No. I love talking shit about Rattler.
Your guy.
But I will say this. Since you want to bring up South Carolina, don't be surprised, Clemson. Don't be surprised, Clemson, if South Carolina beats y'all.
Here we go.
But that's going to be rivalry week, like it always is towards the end of the season. But we're talking about right now, Demon Deacons all day. Sam Hartman, outstanding quarterback. I cannot wait to see what he does in the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope he gets a shot, and I hope he gets picked up by a great team that needs a quarterback. I can name a few that could really use a quarterback right now. Aaron Rodgers.
About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead and retire Aaron Rodgers. But I got your replacement too.
Jordan Love, man. They got Jordan Love.
No, Jordan Love ain't no replacement. Jordan Love is like, you might as well bring Spencer Rattler out. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But back to what we're talking about. Yeah, Demon Deacons all day in this one. NC State, since losing their quarterback, it's not been the same offense.
Their defense is really talented, though.
And that's the thing. The defense is talented, but Sam Hartman, this Wake Forest, coming off of that awful loss with 8 turnovers, I think they got everything fixed and moving forward. So yeah, give me Wake Forest in this one.
I completely agree, man. I completely agree, Nate. Man, what a jam-packed show it has been tonight. Got to once again give a shout out to all of our sponsors: BA Masks, Germantown Village Wine and Liquor, Heritage Fence Company. Any comments, live fan feedback, go to Heritage Fence. You are inside the Heritage Fence live fan feedback. We are right now inside the BA Mask Studios, and you are listening to the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. Nathan Wilson, Wes Pruitt. This has been the 4-Star Roundtable College Football Week 10 edition tonight. And Nathan, it's been a great show, man. We've talked Auburn. We've talked, just a little bit of everything. Hodgepodge of events when it comes to college football. We're looking forward to doing this as well when it comes to college baseball and also when it comes to college basketball coming up. I know basketball season's getting ready to start.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Memphis Tiger basketball is right around the corner. Tiger fans,
Tuesday
I know
night,
you're
Monday
excited.
Night. Yep.
I know. Tiger fans, I know you're excited. I think, Vanderbilt's first game?
Yep. Monday night, SEC Network, 7 p.m.
So I know, Tiger fans are ready to see this this Hardaway team come out and do the thing. So basketball season's right around the corner, but I'm not ready to let go of football season yet. We need to go a little bit slower.
Yeah, exactly. Football season needs to slow down just a tad. Also, speaking of the Memphis Tigers, you can tune in to 4-Star at 4-Star M on Twitter. We will be tweeting out live game updates, live stats, all that stuff as the game is going on. And also tune in next Tuesday night for the Point Podcast, where we will break down the Memphis Tiger basketball game versus Vanderbilt and also preview their upcoming games moving forward. And we'll also talk about the game we talked about earlier, Nathan, and that is Central Florida traveling to Memphis to take on the Tigers. This is the week of answers is what I like to call this week. But for my final thought, Nathan, and I'm sure I speak for you as well when I say this, but I have to say thank you to all of our fans that do everything for us. Y'all, the love and support that you showed us. We had a record month last month in website views and also as an overall reach for a brand. And we really appreciate everything that all of our sponsors. I mean, Germantown Village Wine and Liquor, like I just said, Heritage Fence Company, Sidecar Cafe. Shout out to Rick Haygood and those guys. They did a lot for us. We appreciate them. We're getting ready to go back down to the Senior Bowl in February again. That just made me think of them big time. So shout out to everybody that is giving us love and support. As always, for Nathan Wilson and Wes Pruitt, we appreciate you. We love you, and we are out.